N1SAG, you're listening. N1SAG testing.
Voilà. And 3 or more.
Marco,
Hello.
N1SAG.
Are you the only one here?
Yeah, I guess so. Anybody else over?
Wow, that's a riveting response.
Big crowd tonight, N1SAG.
I've been here since about 7 o'clock. I was watching some TV, but I haven't heard squat.
I gave a call.
About 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
Other than that, squat.
Right. Well, I came down here with Gary. I'm talking, I'm still on his amp. He was a guest again tonight. We stayed pretty much sober, though. And he brought me new headlights for my amp, so I'm just snipping the old stuff out and getting ready to glue the new stuff in. And I'll have bright headlights like his.
Oh, what kind of amp is that again?
The AL82s.
Oh, okay.
I got his on the bench now, hooked up, talking on it. And mine's under the knife.
That's a single 500, right?
Two of them.
82, okay. Got 2 of them in there. Okay, well, yeah, that ought to do a righteous amount of power.
Yeah, I guess they do all right. I mean, Randy used to run, the one I bought mine from Randy, his old AL82. And he used to run the thing pretty hard, you know. I don't run them that hard. Right now I'm only doing, I don't know, maybe 1,000 watts. I don't even know.
It's enough to get through the absorption we still have in the atmosphere at the moment. We still have daylight here quite a bit.
You're 20 over.
I'd like to say you're the same, but on my wretched receiver, you're not.
Well, I don't believe it's the receiver. I don't think there's anything wrong with that radio.
I have a solid 6S unit noise floor of streetlight starter. Woohoo!
Yeah, we're S9 noise level here. S9, but you're 20 over.
Cool.
No problem. It's almost like FM, full quieting. But no, there's I don't know if it's going to quiet down. Who knows, this band, but yeah, no, you're doing great.
Yeah, as soon as the street light kicks on and that gets out of the way, things will probably be down to about 2 or 3 S units like normal. And then once it gets dark enough, I can flip over to the beverages, and then they start working pretty good too. But as long as I have such high absorption, I got to stay on the transmit antenna to receive.
Right, yeah. That's a loop, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, it's doing great right now.
It's a loop made out of coax, and it's a feed line made out of coax. But it's not coax, it's open wire, but it's made out of coax.
I know, you explained it to me. You had a lot of coax, so you made the loop out of it. I think that's great. It works good.
I wasn't going to use that coax for anything else.
Yeah, what was it, 75 ohm?
No, it was 50 ohm Belden, RG58U.
Oh, all right, yeah. That's your standard Radio Shack type 58U, right?
Well, it had, I guess it was a 98% shield. It's got a tin copper braid on it, and solid, I think it was, it's a solid polyethylene dielectric and a solid copper conductor in the center. So, yeah, it's standard mobile coax, and I had a whole, half a whole roll of 1,000 feet or whatever was on the roll, so I used that. I thought it was solid wire, but I found out later that it was coax, but it don't seem to matter. It's still up. It hasn't, it stretched a little bit, but once it got to a certain point, it stopped stretching, and it just seems to work. So it'll be up there till it breaks.
Yeah, that's the way I feel about my antennas.
And when it breaks, we'll replace it with solid. We'll go get the 12 gauge or whatever and put that up.
Yeah, well, that stuff will probably never break. I've been running this Cat 3. I did have a branch hit at one time and it broke, but I soldered it back together and it's still up there. It's like been, 3 years now, I think.
Yeah, I think you'll have no trouble with that. That's actually got a larger surface area than a single conductor, because you got all those conductors in there. You got 4 strands, so yeah. Well, I did that for when was it that I had? I was back in the the telephony project. I was using some, I think it was drop wire. Yeah, I used some drop wire to build a dipole.
Yeah, well, I think I've used just about everything for dipoles, but my son bought this years ago to run, communications throughout the household here, and there's a spool of it or a big box, it comes, 1,000 feet in the box, and it rolls out nice. It was great, and then he's got another box of 1,000 feet of Cat 5, and it looks basically untouched. So and then I got wire I got at home. If I got a spool outside I got out of the junkyard of aluminum wire. I don't know what gauge. It's pretty darn heavy. I forgot what gauge it is. I don't know, but it's solid. It's nice stuff. But it's, I'm not going to even use that. But it would be good, huh? It would be great.
Yeah, the only problem with the aluminized stuff is you got to be a little careful with that, because it likes to get hard on you and likes to become brittle.
Kilowatt. Bravo 2, Zulu, Victor Papa.
Good evening.
What up, boys? Crandall Meyer.
For somebody to show up.
Crandall Meyer is here.
From live from Toad Harbor.
Live from Toad Harbor. Here's Crandall Meyer Radio.
We took the headlights out. We're going to put new headlights in your amp, in the Toad Harbor amp.
You're putting the bright ones in?
Yeah, he brought some more over tonight, and so he brought them over. I got to put them in, right?
Yeah, I was going to order some today, actually. This amp requires, I think these are 24 or 28 volts. I got to check, but they'll work. I just have to put a resistor in line.
Yeah, if it's these 28 volt DC, you could put a little 7812 chip in there, a little 7812 regulator chip. If you want to get crazy, right?
Or how about this? Maybe, just maybe, I can put a resistor in it.
Yeah, resistor works, no question. Gary said he sent you the specs on those headlights.
Yes, he did. That's where I'll order them from.
Okay, but you're not sure if you got a 28 volt light in there or 12 volt, huh?
I'm here.
Well, I think, Dave, it's a 24 volt. I think that's what it is. And I heard Radio Wilbraham checking in. I'm here. And there's the Duanesburg, Carl. The voice of Duanesburg, WG2E.
I'm on the side, KD1MW.
Wow, Rhode Island's checking in. This is like turning into a real big show tonight.
I'm glad I got on so late. Hello. Come down a little bit here. Hello.
Were you on earlier?
No, I was busy all day today. I really ripped my whole garage apart and cleaned the garage really, really good.
So what are you going to do when you run out of stuff and you only got 87 pounds of garbage for your 97-pound garbage can? What are you going to do then?
Well, I got it, considering this is the first day, it gets emptied this morning. I probably got it 25% filled already, so I think I'm going to make it again. And then I dragged my lawnmower out, and I was having trouble with that. And I have no idea why it was running. It was leaking when there was no gas in it. It was bone dry, so it leaked out there in the winter. So when I put gas in it, the float must have been stuck and it was just dripping gas. So I pulled that apart and cleaned it and put it back together, and then the engine wouldn't run right. It was super, super rich. And it's got one of those electronic carburetors. Have you ever dealt with the electric solenoid in it?
Yeah, I've never had to take it apart or anything. It's always worked okay.
Right. Well, it worked. It worked. It was, I'm sure it would have run, but I took it apart and cleaned it and blew it all out with carburetor cleaner, put it back together, and then it wouldn't run. It was just run like it was just real rich, because when you unplug that electric solenoid, then the engine would spin up to a normal speed for a few seconds, and then it would die because it was getting no gas. So I pulled it apart again, and I didn't really do anything. But when I screwed the solenoid in this time, I just put it in real light. I tightened it tight the first time, and this time I just did it like hand tight, and then it ran fine. So it's running again. It skips that, I don't like it. It skips when it's in sixth gear or fifth gear, but it's moving. So I'll push the RPMs up a little higher and go get 2 new blades for it, and it's going to make another year.
You got to change the plug too. Maybe the plug got fouled out a little bit, or you might run it a while. It might get better. I was thinking about all the gas issues and stuff people talk about. I went out to the barn Saturday afternoon, and I grabbed my chainsaw. I had to cut some big limbs out of a tree, good sized ones, and I grabbed my chainsaw. And no gas in it. I go get the gas can. It's been sitting out by the welder since last year. I pull that out. I smell it. I said, well, it smells like gas. I dump it in the chainsaw, primed it 6 times, pulled it 3 times, broke the cord right at the handle, pulled it all apart, put the cord back together in the handle, redo the thing. Realized that I never turned on the ignition because a lot of these stuff that I have here, you just have to shut it off, and when you let off the button, it goes back to being in the run mode. With this thing, you got to turn it on or off. So I said, oh crap, here's the problem. I put it into run mode, pulled it twice more. It's running like a champ. I climbed the tree. I felt like I was one of those people in the competitions, sawing competitions that went through that black walnut like it was nothing, right? So I got the limbs all cut up, all put away. So then I said, well, we got to get the lawnmower out, the push mower, do some trim work. I get that out there. Sure enough, it's got a little bit of gas in the bottom. I said, well, I'll go top it off. I get some gas. It's been sitting there since last summer. I dump it in the tank. I put the choke on it, pulled it once, realized you got to pull the handle. And so I grabbed the hand, pulled it again, sat right there and run. It smoked for about a half a second. Choke went off. Been mowing ever since, and the thing runs like a brand new one. I got to tell you, man, I never have trouble with gas.
Yeah, some of those mowers and stuff just don't have trouble with carburetors. That electronic carburetor that's in that Craftsman I've got, that's one. I never clean it. I never do anything. I just pull it out next year, jump it, and it fires right up. Never had a problem with it. So those electronic carburetors at least in this one, probably are better. I don't think they get plugged up because they don't have the little tiny little holes and passages like the other stuff.
Yeah, maybe. Both of the John Deeres are out there running like Swiss watches. Those things they're nice tractors. I put a new hood on the old John Deere, and Maureen's John Deere's, pretty nice looking tractor, and she's been driving around with that. The deck on the old one is just shot, and I'm going to I decided the thing runs so good, I'm just going to repair that deck, rebuild it, and then we'll have two of those tractors to mow with, and I won't need to use the Kubota for mowing. I'll just mow the field with a Kubota.
Why do the decks rot out? I don't get it, because I've had lawnmowers really old, and the decks never rot out.
These are always rotten. I don't know if it's a crap deck on a John Deere or what, but these decks are from 90, so they're old, and they probably were never really taken care of and dried off and got the old grass out and all that. So, but they rot.
Well, they do a real good job on that deck, so when I buy it, it's in good shape.
So it's 28 years old, right? So I guess that's old enough for something. Yeah, you know what? Think about it. Almost 30 years old. So that's time for a deck to rot, for metal to rot that hasn't been treated.
Yeah, I got to look around. There was one of those other kind of rider mowers, where you sit in the seat and you got the two handles and they can go around circles, zero turn job. I saw one of those for sale by the side of the road the other day. I should have stopped, but I didn't stop, and now it's gone.
They're nice. They're really nice. If you've got a good handle on running those things, you could get yourself in trouble with one. My neighbor bought one, and he ran right through his fence, wound up having to go to the hospital for surgery.
Yeah, well, I'm smart enough that I would learn how to use it in the open ground before I tried anything stupid.
Anyway, what's Carl doing? And Dave is in there, and Mark's in there, and our friend from Rhode Island's in there. The bachelor from Rhode Island. Did Jane get out to Italy okay? Did she get landed okay?
Yeah, she's in Positano now after a long couple of flights, no sleep. Couldn't believe it. She didn't sleep at all. But she made it, sent some pictures, and having a very good time.
Hey, go ahead, and then I got a question.
Go ahead.
Where's Tootie? I want to see how his new antennas work, and he better have it working by now.
I read him the riot act today on the telephone, via text messages.
Well, then he's probably out there now in the dark with a flashlight.
Hey, Bruce.
Hi, Carl.
Hey, am I not supposed to believe in electrons anymore?
No, they're part of the picture, I think, but no, you best not put a lot of faith in them.
I don't know I don't really know how to take that. That's pretty weird. I'm going to have to read it again.
Read it again and again and again.
What are we reading?
Eric Dollard's latest paper entitled, what's it entitled, Carl? The Revival of Electrical Engineering in the Digital Age, or something like that.
Yeah, it's upstairs on my other computer, on my email computer, so I don't have it here handy. But I don't know. I thought that was pretty strange.
Yeah, I have a copy of it in my silly phone. The thing about it is that he, it's really not him saying anything in terms of his own opinion. He is drawing on the masters who did all the discoveries and laid down all the theories back in from the middle of the 1800s on to the beginning of the 1900s, when all that the basic stuff for electrical science was laid down, and he's just quoting from all of those people and putting it all together. It's a masterful job, if you ask me.
Well, he must do a lot to come up with quotes from all those different books. Yeah, I'm going to have to check out the ether and tubes.
The Faraday tubes.
Anyway, that's for another day. I had a pretty good day here today. I worked in cleaning up the laboratory, got some things thrown out and things neatened up. Put my 10-point deer head up on the wall. He's been sitting on the floor for a long time, so place is looking pretty good. And then there was this big round yellow thing up in the sky that came out today that I haven't seen in about 2 weeks.
It hit us too. Surprising.
It was nice to see here in Syracuse. I'll tell you, we don't get near enough sun out here.
It was a frantic search for my sunglasses here.
Yeah, I noticed one of the trackers on the solar arrays wasn't working. I had to replace a motor on the actuator today.
Maureen's excited. We had a Boston Oreo and a hummingbird and some other thing here today. I had an Oriole here yesterday. Yeah, she put her feeders out yesterday. They were here today.
Yeah, our Hummer showed up yesterday.
Oh, I put my Hummer feeder out Saturday or Sunday, I think. So usually they're supposed to come Mother's Day weekend, but I've had them here a week ahead of time. So I usually put it out the weekend before Mother's Day.
Yeah, we had a sighting about 4 or 5 days ago, but I think it was just one passing by. But now the permanent one, the ones that mate and raise their young, are here now.
Yeah, I had a little house wren bouncing around in one of the honeysuckle bushes. So he's back. He'll probably start stuffing all my bluebird houses full of sticks.
Good evening, WA1QZK.
Good evening. This is Carl, Whiskey Golf 2 Echo.
Good evening, Carl. How you doing? WA1QZK, name is Ron, Romeo Oscar November, in Middleton, Mass., 20 miles northeast of Boston. Got a good signal in here tonight.
Oh, thanks. You do, too, as well. I believe we've spoken before. I'm going to have to look back at my list and see if I have you in there.
Oh, I think we have, yeah. I don't have my pencil and paper out here, just about all. So I got running with me tonight. Computer's having a small hissy fit over here, so the logging program is being updated.
Oh, well, I don't have much of the Toad Harbor people on the computer, but I got a couple sheets of paper every time somebody new comes in. I try to get them down and get their name there, so at least I have a place to refer to when I want to say hi.
Okay. I've just been listening to what you guys are jibber-jabbering about. We're just running a 756 Pro 2 with a Dentron linear, and that's just loping here, probably maybe about 150, 200 watts, and that's about it, into a dipole. Go ahead.
Okay, well, you're about 10 over here. I'm a bit west of Schenectady.
I've been out there once. Yeah, Schenectady, Syracuse area, Carrier Circle, all those good places. Those garden spots.
Well, Randy's the Syracuse guy. I'm a little closer to you than he is.
I've heard a Dave and a Mark and a Bruce on here also. I don't know who they are.
Yeah, WA1UZK, is that the right call? N1SAG, Dave here, over.
N1SAG, WA1QZK, Wild Animal 1, Quiet Zookeeper, and the name is Ron. Go ahead.
Okay, Ron, yeah, I got the Q wrong there. I corrected it. Okay, yeah, good copy from up by the Boston area. I'm down here in Hartford, Connecticut, a little west of Hartford, over.
Oh, you're about 20 over up here, so that's not too bad.
Oh, you're 20 over down here for 150 watts. The dipole's doing a good job.
Oh, thank you. Now, there was a Mark in here, too? I must be hearing things.
Well, yeah, Mark's in here. That's Marco Caparati. Is you still around, Mark? Over. I maybe took a little recess.
Yeah, good. I'm Bruce, KD1 Mountain Whiskey, WA1QZK, KD1 Mountain Whiskey. I'm down south of you up in Rhode Island, southeastern corner, up against the Massachusetts border. Over.
Okay, you don't have to pay your toll then.
Repeat call is KD1 Mountain Whiskey.
KD1 MW. Okay, good. Good 20 over 9.
Yeah, same here.
N1WHA.
N1WHH, is that it?
November 1, Whiskey, Hotel Alpha.
November 1, Whiskey, Hotel Alpha. Good evening, WA1QZK. Name is Ron.
Yeah, Ron, I heard you in there. I'm in Norfolk, Connecticut. Actually, Ray and Randy are the ones several months ago that got me tuned in on the open wire feed antenna that I'm running. I've only been a ham about 6 months, and the two of them helped me out a great deal. And I don't usually stay up this late, but I had a grandson's baseball game, and when I came home, I figured I'd sit down, have a cocktail, and turn on the radio, and I knew I'd hear somebody in here on the Toad Harbor net. I heard Ray in there before, I believe. He's talking about his lawnmower, I think.
I didn't catch your name.
The name here is Bill.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, Bill. No problem. Thank you. Well, pretty good signal. You're about an S9. It's solid, but it's up and down a little bit. Not too bad.
Yeah, I'm running barefoot on a 7300. Don't have an amplifier yet, and I'm running a 260-foot, 64-foot dipole, doublet, whatever you want to call it, that Randy sent me the specs on, and I made up the open wire feed, the ladder line like he told me to, and I'm running a Palstar AT4K tuner on it.
That'll work. That will work. That's all I'm running. I'm running the dipole here, and I played around with a lot of different things. I don't run it with open wire. This is the only band that I use the 160. This is the antenna on. We have two towers here, two 50-foot towers, all with hard lines. I'm retired from the wireless business and two-way radio stuff, so put a lot of RF up there in the world today over the years. I had something happen today. Maybe you guys might bring you back from the good old days, 50 plus years ago. We were talking about, we used to receive WBZ and WABC down in Vietnam. We used to listen to them in the evening hours down there, early evening hours. They were still in the air. We had a good signal coming in, but we were listening to Cousin Brucey. So anybody remember that back that far?
Oh, I remember Cousin Brucey.
Wolfman Jack.
I remember Cousin Brucey. That's not that long ago he was on.
Royal Order of the Night People.
On satellite radio. He's on Channel 5, I think it is. He's got a time slot there.
Yeah, I've heard him on there.
He's on 60s on 6 on satellite radio.
Yeah.
60s on 6. KB2 ZVP, I'm back. Sorry, I disappeared.
How about Wolfman Jack?
How's your boogaloo doing?
The Royal Order of the Night People.
Yeah, I remember all that stuff.
But we used to listen to him in Vietnam, man. Talk about AM broadcasting going over the hill.
And when I say G here, I remember listening to Detroit stations at night, at nighttime, and all up and down on AM. But back then, we mostly had those little pocket transistor radios, and they had really good receivers for what they were. But we used to go camping out. We'd listen to all kinds of radio stations all over the United States, and even some foreign signals would come in as well. But I remember all that.
But I'm not alone then. I'm out there. Okay.
I used to go out at night in my mom's car and tune back and forth with the AM radio, see what I could pick up there. I used to listen to all that stuff too.
Who used to listen to Mystery Theater?
The Shadow knows.
We used to get Wheeling, West Virginia, too.
My dad, that's what he always listened to, Wheeling, West Virginia, with his long wiry antenna out in the backyard with his ICOM radio.
Who knows what the Shadow knows?
Yeah, well, all those good shows. I still have them audio tapes here. Some of the old program, Amos and Andy, and all the shows. Some of those altogether got funny,
All the Mystery Theaters, every episode, my wife bought me. And it would play in my Subaru, Carl, because that will play a DVR in the Subaru. But the rest of my vehicles I can't play them in, which is unfortunate because I spent a lot of time on the road back in the day, and before I had the setup in the pickup truck that I have now. I could talk to people, but I used to listen to the Mystery Theaters, and we would get home with the kids all in the back seat. We'd have 3 kids in the back seat and us in the front, and we'd pull into the house. There was 20 minutes to go. We sit out in the car, and we wouldn't stop listening to it until it was over.
The Green Lantern was another one.
Convert that, put it on a CD or something?
Well, they're on CDs. I don't know how to do that, but you probably could. Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know, because it's something that you buy. Can you reproduce that?
Sure, you can put it on yourself as long as you're using it for yourself and not reusing it to rebroadcast.
Anybody remember the Herb Jepko nightcap show?
No, I didn't stay up for that one.
He was before Larry King and before Art Bell. He was on WHAS on 840 and KSL on 1160. And that was how you could tell if you were here in Utah, because you could hear the Herb Jepko show. He's only on 2 stations, KC1RS.
How about Party Line with Ed and Wendy King on KDKA back in the 60s?
And now we're going back. Okay, very good. All right, we got you guys going. Sorry about that. WA12ZK. KC1RF, I heard you in there.
K4DBK.
Hang on, the K4. What's your call there? KC1QZK?
Well, my call is Whiskey America 1, Quebec, Zanzibar, Kilowatt. Wild Animal 1, Quiet Zookeeper.
Yeah, okay, that's a tongueful. That's a mouthful. Whiskey Alpha 1, Quebec, Zulu Kilo. Okay, got it in there, Ron. Who's the 4?
Yeah, Kilo 4, Delta Bravo Kilo, K4DBK in Northern Virginia. Name here is Dennis.
What's the name?
Name is Dennis, as in Dennis the Menace.
Hi, Dennis the Menace. This is Kilo Bravo 2, Zulu Victor Papa. My name is Randy. Randy is my name, and there's a lot of people in here, so everybody say hi to Dennis.
Hey, Dennis.
Hello, Dennis.
Hello, Dennis from Whiskey Golf 2 Echo.
Hello, Dennis, WA1QZK.
Okay, got a bunch of stations in there, and who's the station from Schenectady? I used to listen to WGY And I used to talk about all the time that my daughter went to college up there.
Okay, well, that'd be Whiskey Golf 2 Echo. Name here is Carl. And if I drive about a mile from my house, I can look and see that tower. So it's still on. You can still listen.
Oh, yeah, they're on 810, still tuning it in. The daughter went to college here, then the son went across the river at Rensselaer. So she went to Union, he went to Rensselaer. Both great schools.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with all of that, Dennis.
Anyway, I used to pass by there all the time, also on the way to Canada. So, anyway, I heard you guys talking. I used to do a lot of medium wave DXing, years ago. Still tune around on TS590, inverted L 50 foot in the pine trees, and right now testing out a 240-foot loop on the ground, which I've been stapling into the ground.
Okay, well, you're just S9 here near Schenectady.
Okay, I'm going to put the amp on. I'm going to go off frequency a little here and tune up so I don't blast the guys out. It says take 4 dBk, a lot of good signals there.
Hey, hang on before you run. What do you mean a 240-foot loop antenna on the ground? That's your transmitting antenna? You can't be.
No, it's my receive antenna. It transmits the inverted L, so I get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, so you got an inverted L. And you got a loop on the ground?
Yeah, loop on the ground with a matching transformer, 75 ohm coax coming into the shack here. And actually I've been experimenting with, I don't really have the linear type of distance to really run a beverage on the ground to really do that right. And there's been a bunch of hoopla out there about loops on the ground. Anywhere from 60 feet. I did a 500-foot one, did a 345, got a 240 now, which seems to be pretty well balanced as far as I can tell between 80 meters and 160 on receive.
Okay, very good. That's interesting. I'm interested into in the receive antenna, so I'd like to know more about that. Go ahead and get your amp on. You're coming in here good. I'm north of Syracuse in a place called Toad Harbor, and you're about 10 over S9. Sometimes you'll fade down a little bit, but for the most part, you're always certainly very readable. Just not real big at times, but most times you're over S9.
Okay, sounds good. WG2E in the group, K4DBK, and let you guys carry on a little bit, and I'll get this thing tuned up.
Okay, we'll be here.
Oh, he's about an S7.
AB3 of me.
Come on, up in Boston.
Well, he's doing good here.
AB3ME.
ME.
Hey, Randy. Quick question.
WA2ES. Hey, Doc.
Hi, Randy. Everybody.
Was it Alpha Bravo 3 Mike Echo?
Yeah, Roger, Randy. Got a quick question. Getting ready to build some ladder line, Toad Harbor ladder line. How many ohms, what size ballon do I need for that?
Well, you don't need a ballon at all. If your tuner's got it's got studs on the back. What kind of tuner are you going to use, Bill?
No, I've got a HF Auto, Pulsar HF Auto, but I can't get the ladder line all the way to my shack, so I've got to transition from the house or through the basement to my tuner. I really don't want to run the ladder line through the basement if I don't have to.
Yeah, probably a 4-to-1. A 4-to-1 current ballon or a 1-to-1, I think, current.
I have a really good 1-to-1 current ballon I got from VX Engineering. But I don't know, it seems to me, I remember I talked to you folks about this, a few months back. But I want to build this, I want to build a doublet for field day. And after field day, I want to take down this
sloping 160-meter thingamabob I have. I'm using my tower as a ground that I'm talking to you on right now, which kind of works all right, but I really want to do a doublet. And I want to build some tow to harbor the ladder line, and I want to build a 160-meter doublet for field day. So that's where I'm starting, and see where it progresses from there. So I'm curious as to really what impedance does 4-inch spacing end up. I've got the spacers from Harbor Freight. I've got the wraps. I've got the Wireman wire, so I'm getting ready to build. I just want to locate or purchase or build a proper balance.
It depends on how long the feed line is and what frequency you're running.
Well, no, I'm saying from the feeding the doublet to the Ballon, and then I have to go from the Ballon with coax to my tuner, which is roughly 50 feet. I know I've got to do that in monthly increments or thereabouts. I understand that.
You're only going to use that on 160 only?
No. The whole purpose of making a doublet, I could use it on, hopefully, I don't know how many, but certainly I'm hoping to be able to get down to 40 with it.
I went through a whole scenario with that. I had nothing but hassles one way and after another. I just ended up going back. This was a standard doublet, a dipole. Had better match them, just fed it with 50 ohm coax. For the same reasons you got, I had to go through the basement, through portions of the house, and with the ladder line, it was too much problems with being close to stuff. It just didn't match well at all.
That's what I'm concerned about. That's why I know I'm going to have to put a mallet on the outside of the house, just above the foundation, and then run coax from it to my shack, which is only going to be, 40 feet at the most. So, but ladder line to the feed point on the tower, that's going to be maybe 65, 70 feet, maybe 80 feet thereabouts. Of course, field day, that's a different set of problems. I can run the ladder line direct to my tuner at field day. I've got an MFJ that's got the 4-to-1 Ballon built in, so it should work fine for field day. But I'm looking down the road and trying to incorporate it here at the home QTH after field day. So that's why I was kind of curious. 4-inch spacing on the Wireman, that silky wire, 14 gauge. They didn't have any 12 gauge, so I bought 14, which should be fine. And that's what I'm going with. So what kind of Ballon?
I think you'd be better with a 901.
You think I got 600 ohms?
You can be custom make it if you want to.
Say again?
I plan to be using a temporary setup somewhere, WA1QK for ID. We're using coax because I want to go through the house, and I'll run up into a doublet to feed it as actually the long wire, but I'm going to be using a 50-to-1, and that'll match that pretty much all the way out. Go ahead.
Any Ballon is just a roll of the dice, depending on the frequency and the impedance match you get at both sides of the Ballon. You're better off running the ladder line right into the tuner and have a balanced tuner, like the one Ray runs. Then you'll have no problems.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know why you guys are messing with coax. If you're running that doublet, is a doublet tuned for this band?
I just don't want to do that here at home. Field day is fine. I can run the ladder line directly to the tuner, so I'm not concerned about that. But when I bring everything home, I want to put it up on my tower, 5-foot offset my tower. Tower's up at 50 foot, so and I want to string it up instead of this
this, I don't know what you want to call it. I guess it's an end fed. I'm grounded my coax to one side of the tower at the top of the tower, which is up 50 feet, and I've got like 130 feet, just about a quarter wave, strung out as a flat top, running north and south. So that's what I'm talking on.
Where's the doublet tuned for?
Oh, I'm going to tune it for probably midway in the 160 meter band. I haven't built it yet.
But I mean, you can match that with a hunk of coax, right? Right back to your tuner.
Sure, I could.
Well, then instead of thinking around with building the feed line, if you're not going to run the feed line all the way to your tuner, you're kind of defeating the purpose of running Toad Harbor feed line, right?
Well, I don't know. I've never played with the Toad Harbor feed line, so I've heard you folks talking about it quite a bit.
Hey, Randy.
And like I said, I probably could run that balance line all the way here into my station. Just running through the basement's going to be a real hassle. And I've got a big metal beam that runs right down the middle of the basement. And I can only get about 8 inches away from that metal beam. Or I'm sorry, 11 and a half. I have to put the wire up over the top of the beam. So the beam's, let's see, it's a 12-inch beam. I guess it's got about a 5.5, 6-inch wide flange. Maybe that won't make any difference. But coming through the wall, I've got to go through some aluminum siding. Maybe that won't make that much difference. What do you guys think?
Well, there's a real easy way around this. Are you ready?
Yeah, Ray, go ahead.
Okay, this is what you do when you're in a situation like you. You still run balanced feed line, but you take 2 pieces of coax cable. Say, for instance, 2 RG8U pieces of coax cable, and you hook the centers of the 2 coaxes to the ears on the tuner, just like you would the open wire line. You tie the 2 grounds together on the tuner end, leave them 6 inches long or whatever, and they go to the ground on the tuner. In other words, so the braid is grounded to the chassis of the tuner, and the tuner needs a good earth ground outside. And then on the other end, you go through the aluminum siding, you come out a few inches or however far you want, and then you hook the open wire feed line to the center of the coax, just like you did back on the tuner, and you tie the 2 grounds together outside, right there, where they dead end. You just tie the 2 grounds together. So on one end, on the outside end, the 2 grounds are together, and on the inside end, they're grounded to the chassis, the tuner. And that's basically still keeps the open wire line to the tuner, except it's shielded.
So I don't need spacers between the coax, obviously, because of the shields.
Well, that is a very good question. I would still probably space it the same amount. I really do not know the answer to that, but I would kind of think maybe you'd want to keep the spacing the same.
That's a good solution, Ray.
Well, it wasn't my idea. I've read about it several times on in antenna books and in the QST and stuff. But that's the solution. And even though it's more lossy than open wire line, it still keeps the open wire line, all the way to the tuner, which means then, of course, you can use that antenna on all bands.
Yeah, that's exactly my goal. I want to try and get rid of all these other Mickey Mouse wires I got all over the place. I want one antenna. That should work everything, pretty much.
Yeah, it'll work really good. Yeah, get rid of all your outside antennas. The biggest problem is you got antennas. If you got 4 or 5 antennas out in the yard, you just have a mess. So, the ideal setup is a loop fed with open wire line, and the next best thing is probably the 4-wire antenna system like I was using, fed with open wire line, and then the last best thing is a half-wave dipole on 160 fed with open wire line. But they all work good. Okay, N1 DBL.
All right, appreciate the help. All right, I'll leave you guys alone. AB3ME.
maybe 388. One last suggestion. This KD1 Mountain Whiskey. For field day, why don't you try to find yourself a $50 Johnson Matchbox tuner, and you hook that up to your, because that is perhaps the best open wire balanced tuner, and you could use that field day and get a real good feel for how a true balanced tuner works. Hook your ladder line right to it.
Well, I suppose I could hunt around and see if I can find one. Now that you mention, I think I saw one on QRZ here not too long ago. But I have an MJ. What's the 989 or the 600 watt version?
Oh man, I'm getting the heebie-jeebies.
600 watt version with the roller inductor and that kind of stuff. So that's what I play. That's what I normally use on field day. And it has the post on the backside for balance line.
Yeah, but the problem is, whenever you use a balun like that on the output of the tuner, there will be a match that you might try to make, and it might happen to be on the frequency you want to operate on, that will, the tuner will raise hell with the tuner. I mean, with the balun. The balun will just, bucket and resist doing its thing, because the impedance it's looking into is way out of range of what the balun's designed to do. So it's a hit or miss. It's a roll of the dice when you're using a balun, even when it's inside your tuner like the MFJ. I have one of those here, and I wouldn't dream using it on a balanced line. I use it only for coax line. But try to find one of those Johnson Matchboxes just to break in, to get a feel for what it's like to run a real balanced tuner.
I'll look into that. They're not that expensive. $50 if I could find one. They're scarce as hen's teeth when you're looking for them, and when you're not looking for them, they're all over the place.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. But, if you can happen to find one, there's a little time between now and field day. Maybe you could.
Well, if you guys hear of one, let me know. I'm good on QRZ. You can email me or what have you. I don't get up here often enough to chat with you folks, so I can't say I'm here every night. But I'm good on QRZ. AB, hear me.
Hey, Randy, email Paul. Tell Paul to get on.
I've reached out to Paul many times, and he's responded recently, but he's just been too busy. Hasn't been getting in the radio room at all.
Is he busy with work?
He didn't respond with exactly what he was busy with. I assume it's work, tax season and all.
Yeah, okay.
WA3FPN.
There's good, Mike. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm starting to feel not as good the closer it gets to Thursday.
Yeah, it's not this Thursday. It's the following, right?
Nope, it's this Thursday.
Wait a minute. It's in my calendar, and I thought it was the 15th. Oh, Maureen said it was the 9th. All right. Well, good luck.
Yeah, thanks. I'm not really looking forward to it, but I'm be glad to get it out of the way. But I don't know. I see different things about how long the recovery time is, and that's going to mess up most of the summer the way it looks.
Yeah, it is. It's right the 9th. I got you. Okay. Well. How long is it going to take you to recover?
Well, I guess everybody's different, but I'm seeing like at least 4 weeks till you're half moving around, and maybe 6 months till you're back to normal. It's going to be cutting it close for Dayton.
I was going to ask if you went up to Nearfest.
No, I was at, let's see, where was I? I was at Hagerstown and Bristol.
Do you still have your both ICOMs?
Yes. I'm thinking about taking one along to the hospital.
Yeah, that's going to work out good.
I can drop a wire out the window.
Yeah, and everybody in the hospital with a pacemaker croaks. You know they're going to blame you even if the guy dies. They have to blame somebody, and they can't blame a doctor for doing a bad job, so they're going to have to blame you.
Probably the microwave.
How long will you be in the hospital?
Well, 2, 3, maybe 4 days. It just depends on how quick they can get me back on my feet.
That's one thing where a remote station would be acceptable. Good luck to you, Mike. We'll be thinking about you. KD1 Mountain
Down
Whiskey.
to the Matchbox for $135.
I'm hoping I'll be able to make it to the summit.
You better.
We're counting on it.
Well, if I can, I'll at least send Joanne. She's going up to Southington, Connecticut on Monday.
For what?
Work. She has to go up there and do some training.
When's she coming to Syracuse?
I don't know yet. They keep throwing these things at her within a couple of days that she's supposed to go. So they just told her today that she has to be up there, and it's going to take Monday and Tuesday. She's training a new driver.
How's she liking the new job?
Well, I think she likes it. She's always up for a challenge, and this stuff's all new ground. They didn't really have anything in place before for training, so she's developing a lot of new stuff, which is kind of the same thing she did at her old job, only instead of construction, it's moving freight and dock workers and truck drivers and that kind of stuff.
Was that Joanne? Hi, Joanne.
No, that was not her.
Oh, okay.
Where'd the volume go? What do you get?
Showing off.
It's going. Where's the volume? Something change over here?
Sounds like Mickey's is tripping the Vox or something.
Yeah, they're on transmit because she's looking for the volume and can't hear anything.
This could get interesting, you know?
Yeah, you know, women in machinery.
Yeah, don't say anything for a while.
No, at least we're not listening to MASH. K1LH.
Oh, yeah, right there.
You mean they both can't figure out the red lights on? You better call them on the phone, Randy.
Your box is on, so Randy just has to use your box. Well, how do you do that?
Hey, you had to bring that stupid bird down
We're
there.
transmitting.
Digital radio.
You can hear you.
Hey, where's Bob? KD2D. Where are you? N1DBL.
I'm right here, Ray. What's up?
Oh, okay. We didn't hear you tonight. We figured you were hanging up by your wire.
I just got here actually a few minutes ago, and what I heard was you guys talking about somebody trying to figure out that they got their Vox on or something.
I think they finally figured it out.
Okay. Am I coming in any better tonight?
No.
Yeah, okay, so standard. Just lower noise levels?
I don't know. Are you running the new antenna?
No, it's not ready yet.
Oh, okay. Well, then you wouldn't be coming in any better.
So you asked about VLF and stuff like that, why they have to send at low speed?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I looked at it, and so let's see if I can explain this without messing myself up. So, if you look at a spectrum of just a steady carrier, it's right on the frequency. Then when you start sending CW, you get the harmonics based on how fast you send. And how fast you send, in other words, how fast you do your dits or your DAs, your on and off, it creates more and more harmonics. So the bandwidth is a function of your frequency. The lower you go, the narrower your bandwidth are. You start sending too fast, and what happens is pieces of the transmission just don't get through. And so I think if you think of it like, I think a fair analogy may be if you're talking on sideband here, and let's say you're talking with a 2 kilohertz spread, and I've got my filter on to 250 or 100, I'm only going to get that portion that goes through there, and that's what happens. So what happens is if you start sending CW real fast on those low frequencies, too fast for the bandwidth, you miss dots and dashes. I think that's what happens.
Well, what happens if the receiver's got a 3 or 4 kc bandwidth? Then will you hear it okay?
Let's see. Yeah, the bandwidth spreads out, so I would imagine that you would. If you had a wide enough receiver, you should be able to pick them up. I think the problem is that you don't.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. It doesn't seem to make any sense. What's the difference if you're at 60 kilohertz and you're sending CW fast? I don't see why you wouldn't hear it, but we'll have to try it someday.
Yeah, I think that's it. Anyway, that's I went on a page and tried to figure it out, see if there could be an example, and with the digital modes, they get dropouts. So I think what it is you just can't discern when it gets too fast. You just don't get all of it.
When you're shooting an artillery piece, whether it be the tank or artillery, for maximum range, what is the angle? It's not 45, is it?
It's closer to like 48, 49.
That's what I thought. Okay, and what's the reason for that? Does it get it higher in the atmosphere?
Yeah, a couple of things. First, you want to get to the thinner atmosphere quicker. So get out of the dense atmosphere. And it's even higher angle when you shoot smart bullets that can nose over and fly. And the other thing is, as it's coming in, you get a little lift off the bullet. Once it comes back in, these real high angle ones, like if you're doing a real high angle, let's see, if you're shooting, so when you're shooting high enough, let me see, you say you're shooting at 49 degrees and you get a real long range shot in there. You're up in pretty thin air, and so the bullet doesn't quite nose over until it gets down into thicker air, and then it'll nose over. But before it does, it actually picks up a little bit of lift. And if you have those bullets, you give them like a 4-degree nose-up angle of attack, you can pick up a lot of lift off of quite an amazing amount of lift, and they send your range quite a bit. But back to what your question was, primarily get out of the dense atmosphere quicker, and so you don't get so much velocity bleed off. And then
back into the thicker air, slightly nose up, and gives you a little more distance.
Okay, Bob, hang on 1 second, Brett.
Well, while we're waiting, KB2ZVP on the 10-ish.
KT to D for a few more minutes.
81 Mountain Whiskey.
WA2E. And WG2E is back.
WA1QZK.
Randy, I sent you an email with that paper attached.
Okay, thank you, Bruce. I'll check it out.
Yeah, you'll no longer believe in electrons.
Boy, that's kind of scary. I'm not sure if I want to read it now. What will I believe in? What's taken the place of the electrons?
I'm not entirely sure. I have to read it again.
Well, the electron actually is a point at the end of one of the tubes, Carl. It's where it touches the wire. The tubes leave the wire, one end touches it, the other end touches the other wire.
I think we're going to have to get these books that are referenced, where the references come from.
Yeah, absolutely.
K1 Adam, Henry Adam.
Hello, Dick.
Hello, Randy.
How you doing, old man? All good in the Toad Harbor hood, buddy.
All right. All right. We're doing okay. We got some leaders over in our backyard now. 2 of them I think I saw this afternoon.
What were they that you saw?
What was that?
Yeah, I didn't hear what you have in the backyard.
Yeah, in the backyard. We got hummingbirds coming in, and they're pretty ones. About 3 different colors on one of them.
Oh, okay, yeah, they're coming in the area. I know Carl said he had one yesterday, and Maureen said that she saw one today, and an Oreo, and some other bird. I can't remember the name of it, but it was very unique, and it was just a bird that I had never heard of before. So she's big into all that stuff.
Yeah, it's nice, and it was beautiful weather today. I think it got up to 70, and we had some sunshine. That was good, too. Go ahead.
A Rufus-sided towhee.
Oh, they're nice. They have a nice little singing voice, too. It's drink your tea.
Yeah, that's what we have out there. She saw, and I had never seen one before. I knew. The only reason I knew what it was is I just looked on my phone as a past lookup, because she looked it up when I went back to my office today. She left it on my phone and told me to look at the bird she had in the backyard. So anyway, it's interesting. She has all these birds and bird books around, binoculars, and she's always looking at these things,
Okay, well, I didn't realize she was a birder, so we can talk birdies next time we're together.
Oh, yeah. She's very much into all that stuff. Her mom always was, and just kind of, instilled it on her, and she takes care of the birds year round. She'll be out there, and she'll get up in the middle of the night or whatever. She goes, "Oh my God, I forgot to fill the bird feeders today," and she'll get up and she'll go feed the bird feeders, early in the morning. I just don't understand, but okay.
Well, tell her to bring the binoculars to the summit. If we're next to the river, maybe we can find something interesting.
Yeah, you'd like it out here. There's all kinds of birds of prey out here, all over the place,
WA1QZK, gentlemen wants to leave you another appointment.
Okay, was that Ron talking just now?
Roger.
Okay, you were doubling a bit. All right, Ron, nice to hear you back on the world-famous Toad Harbor Net. We got a big get-together we're talking about here. If you hear us talk about the summit, it's on June 15th down in Kingston, at Kingston, New York, at the Robert Post Park. It's going to be a big, picnic. A lot of us are staying overnight, that kind of thing. A lot of people are coming and going, so you'd be welcome to come by and say hi.
Well, if I can get out, but I don't think so. My wife's got me chained pretty tight around here.
Okay, well, it's an offer that's available to you from now till then. The day after, it expires.
I'm bringing my wife with me, N1SAG.
Yeah, all the guys are bringing their wives that have wives.
Oh, no, don't do that. They'll spend more money that way, guys. Make sure you hide your credit cards.
Money's no object.
I'll bring my girl too. A1LH, is it?
Yeah, bring Kalu. It's always, well, no, it's a dog-free park. You can't bring Kalu to the park.
And John had his 2 dogs hidden in the RV, remember?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Well, what do you mean? Just, Steve, all you have to do is put on some really, really dark glasses and carry a white cane.
Hey, Randy, John was on 50.4 AM last night from K2 CBA.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, we had, he was in there and a few other people, and then, Mike, TTV and I, we went on till 10:15.
I listened a little bit. I tried to see if I could hear anybody, but maybe I wasn't listening at the right time or what. But I did not hear when I listened for the. Well, I was probably listening for 5 minutes.
Well, we were on from 8 o'clock till 10:15.
Did you sell my amp yet?
No, I haven't. But all those people there on that net, I have mentioned it to them several times.
Yeah, okay. Well, they're the kind of guys who would love having it.
Speaking of which, I borrowed one.
What you got?
Well, it's AL84.
An AL84?
Uh-huh.
AL84. I'm not from. Is that a 3CX800 machine?
Oh, it uses television tubes.
Oh, it's a sweep tube machine amp.
Yeah. It didn't work. I took the tubes out of my GLA 1000, put in it, and now it plays. I think I'm ready to turn it on, but I'm a little spooked.
Well, turn your power down out of your radio. Cut that way back.
Eeny, meeny, meeny. Do it work?
I hear you.
What sweep tubes are in it, you know?
There. Now I got her tuned up as good as I can. WAHUES. What do you guys say? Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow. Or its fleece was white as snow. Yeah, something like that.
Now you're 35 over to me.
Yeah, well, it says it's putting out about 300 watts.
Bruce, I think, asked you what type of tubes are in it.
Oh, they're television sweep tubes. I can't remember the number. Just 4 of them.
Well, you're 30 over into Rhode Island here, Doc.
Hey, Bruce, I got your seeds. Thanks, buddy.
Hey, okay. I'm glad the post office pulled it off, because it was kind of a lumpy envelope, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they were there the other day. I got them, and I haven't been able to find you, so thank you. My wife's all kinds of excited. She's already got a bunch of them in these little cup things.
Yeah, good idea. Good time to do it. And then when the ground warms up, you can put them in the garden.
Hey, Bruce, I got a farmer question.
I'll put on my farmer hat, but it isn't that deep.
Well, you know how on a Christmas cactus, you break off a piece and you throw it in water and it takes off?
Yeah, it grows roots.
Right. Well, I had one of them growing here for, Christ, I don't know, 5 or 6 months, and it was growing pretty good. And then I made a very weak solution of plant food, Miracle Grow, the blue stuff, and I poured that in there, and it seemed to really do it in. It just looked like it was dying. So I rinsed it all out and I put regular water back in. Now, it was a very weak solution, but is that too strong? Does that burn the roots or something because it's liquid?
It might have been too strong, and there's no soil to buffer the effects of the fertilizer. There's a lot of salt in those water-soluble plant food.
Yeah, that's what I was. As soon as I put it in there, within a few days, it started looking ugly. So I rinsed it all out and I put regular water back in.
We'll stick it into the dirt, let it take off there for a while, and then give it a little food.
Yeah, okay.
Boy, Maureen's Christmas cactus is going crazy out there. It's bloomed a bunch of times. It's kind of odd. I don't know why it's blooming so much.
Because you know why? Because it's been no sun.
James is doing the same thing, Randy.
Come on, and that's why, because Christmas cactus bloom when it gets dark. You put it in the closet, it'll bloom. So it's been so dark lately with no sun. That's why it's blooming.
That's an interesting theory. I guess maybe it sounds like it could be plausible because we haven't had any sun here. It's been very, very dark.
Mine is doing the same thing. It bloomed like crazy.
That sort of ruins my theory. I have high hopes that the plant had some, interstellar connection, that it knew the position of the planet relative to the sun and all that stuff. But it's probably just as simple as that, the length of day, length of light hours.
You may be overthinking it, Bruce.
That's why they call it a Christmas cactus, because it blooms at Christmas. It's the shortest day of the year.
Unless it's in the southern hemisphere.
Hey, that AL84, it says it uses 4,6MJ6 beam tetrodes.
Yeah, sounds right.
And I was reading up on it on one of the websites, and it says the better performances with the European or Russian-made tubes over the American-made tubes.
Yeah, but you took tubes out of your ramp to put them in the other ramp, right?
Yeah, I took them out of my GLA 1000 Ventron.
Now, what tube goes in a GLA 1000, Carl? Probably not the same tube.
I don't know. What tube's in the GLA 1000, Doc?
Yeah, they were the same. I just took them out and plugged them in this one, and they worked.
KC3, KXP.
Hey, you're 20 over 9 tonight. Did you fix your antenna?
Yeah, I didn't think there was anything wrong with it.
Well, I didn't think so either, but I don't know, the last 2 or 3 weeks your signal's been low, but that's up higher tonight. I cleaned
the weather. This is the quietest I think I've ever heard it.
Yeah, well, be happy while you can, because it isn't going to stay this way for long.
Yeah, the GLA 1000, they run 6 LQ6s.
That's what I thought. So they're different tubes.
But that's like a 1,000-watt amp, isn't it? I think, doesn't that thing do like 800 watts, 1,000 watts?
No way. Those tubes shouldn't do more than about, really, they're like 100 watts a piece top, so that's really a 400 watt. You could probably push it to 5, but so those tubes only have like 33 watts of dissipation. So
I'm
3,
looking at a
6, 9,
PDF
12,
for the instruction manual for the AL84,
40 watts
and it's a
dissipation.
copy like
You know,
that
really
somebody owned, and they have written at the top of it 6LQ6, WF6, and 6MJ6. So maybe there's a number of tubes that will work.
Yeah, they should be the same, but you know, maybe there might be one pin different, and that's why it works or doesn't work.
Well, it's obviously working for him. Does it seem like it's tuning up okay? It's not going into oscillation or anything, right?
Well, here's my question. Why did he change the tubes? Why did he change the amp? What's going on?
Oh, the GLA 1000 only goes to 80 meters.
Oh, that's the reason. Okay, good. Okay, that makes perfect sense now.
Doc, how much power do you get out of your GLA 1000 on 80 meters?
Hope it didn't blow up.
I hope he didn't throw a bucket of water on it.
They fell in the frog pond.
Fell in the harbor.
They put out about 500 watts, I think, 450 to 500.
I hate to leave this very quiet night, but I've about wrung everything I can wrung out of this day. I've got a few more pieces of paperwork to do in the house, so I'll say 7:30. KD1, Mountain Whiskey.
See you, Bruce. Sleep well, Bruce.
Good night, Bruce.
Good night, Bruce, and thanks again. And these tubes say, no, I can't read them. 6JE6C or 6LQ6, USA, Sylvania's.
You're 20 over here now, Doc.
See you, Bruce.
So what's the power output, Doc, on 80 meters out of your GLA 1000?
It's about 500 watts. I can push it a little harder, but I didn't try this one on 80 yet, so I was just excited to get it, and I don't know how long I'm going to get to keep it, but a while anyway.
The paperwork here says it's good for 400 watts.
Okay, very good. Yeah, drop your mic gain down, Doc. You're picking up way too much background noise now with that.
Who makes the 84? Is that Dentron?
Ameritron.
Ameritron, huh? Ah, that's a cute little amp. I didn't even know they made one.
Is that the one that was on eBay for, what, $350 or so?
So, Doc, does that guy want to sell that?
He wouldn't say. He just told me to use it for a while.
Who'd you get her from?
Oh, wait. I have a brilliant idea. He probably doesn't use it on 160, so why don't you give him your amp? He doesn't use 160, right?
Yeah, I don't even know if he uses low bands at all anymore.
Well, if he doesn't use 160 at all, then make a deal with him and give him your amp and keep that one.
Either way, I got to buy some tubes.
It only goes to 15 meters.
No, those are all modifiable to run on 10 and 11.
Don't care, don't need it there.
I remember years ago on 11 meters, I had a Thunderbolt 350, which run the 4 6LQ6s. And I think I remember seeing 300, 350 watts out of it.
Yeah, it was a lot more than 4, right? Well, you were probably running sideband.
Hey, Ray.
Yes.
has your turns counter on your tuner been changing numbers now that the leaves are starting to come out?
Yes.
Okay, I was all winter long. I was at like 330, 333, and now I'm up to 348.
Yeah, these things are, they change with the leaves, and they change with a certain, mine changes crazy with rain. If it's real dry and cold out here, I'm like 64 or 65. If it's pouring rain and it's been raining for 2 or 3 days, it's up around 100 and go 107 or something. Big difference.
Yeah, okay. Well, I noticed it was slowly creeping up, so I thought I'd ask.
I'm looking for a golf ball. Tomorrow, if I get my golf ball, I'm going to be putting my antenna up a little bit higher. I'm going to rebuild the entire antenna, I think, on this weekend.
Boy, you don't want to take any chance. That got a little tarnish under the jacket there.
I got to tell you, man, it's been up for now a couple of years. It's time to take it down, roll it up, and use it for a radio when I put up my killer tower.
Can you use the old piece to pull in the new piece?
As high as you can and put the N1 DVL antenna up first. By the way, that's what I've been trying to remember. I'm writing a list here, so when I see you. And do you want that 4-foot piece of half-inch wall fiberglass?
Absolutely, positively.
Okay, that's I'm sitting in front of this list for the last hour trying to remember what I wanted to write on it, and I couldn't remember. And I spent all day cleaning the garage, and I found that way in the back, and it's right up front now, so I'll remember to bring it.
Yeah, and my Tesla book.
I already got that down.
Yo, Tom.
Is that what you recommend every couple of years to replace the antenna or replace the wire with a new antenna?
Well, I don't know if I recommend that for everybody, but I do know for a fact that any kind of a nick in an antenna, I would. For what it costs, I would. I know Ray's had trouble over the years with his antenna getting, a little something happens to it and then water migrates into it. And next thing you know, see what happens is if you get water in the solder joint, and everybody thinks you're crazy for saying this, but that solder is porous, especially as it gets old and gets out there and gets shaken around. And you'll actually lose a connection there, lose connection to a certain degree. And to that degree of loss, you have a poorer and poorer transmitted signal. And some people laugh at you. These old guys will laugh at you and say, I've had the same coax up there for 20 years. I had the same antenna for 20 years. Well, your antenna you probably had a decent signal back then. But, they're talking to the same group of guys and whatever. I'm getting off the... Yes, I would. I wouldn't keep an antenna up more than 2 or 3 years without changing it.
Tom, we here in the Total Harbor Net, we do it every 4 months. Okay, within the next couple of weeks, I'll have an antenna up.
I was a little concerned, Gary, when I heard the chirping and stuff going on and the giggling in the background. I was concerned that you might get embarrassed. That's why I started texting Mickey.
I was concerned as well, mister. Thank you for that.
But we did hear Mickey say, how come there's no volume? Where's the volume?
I don't know what the hell happened. The bird landed on the keypad and all hell broke loose.
So the radio is stuck in transmit, right?
Yeah, and I don't know how it did, how it happened. It was in transmit, but it was in Vox at the same time. Yeah, I don't know. But the Vox wasn't on. That's what I don't understand.
I think you were just keyed up. I don't know if it was... I assumed it was Vox just because that's what happens with Vox, right? But I think you were just keyed up because I could hear it nonstop.
Maybe the bird wanted to sing.
I think so. Kind of like when Chloe keyed the mic up there and then we had to listen to MASH for 15 minutes.
Yeah. Hey, listen. You guys want to hear a really incredibly interesting story, especially you, Gary, because you got a parrot.
Go ahead, Ray.
There's a case on the books where a parrot fingered a murderer, and they put him in jail because of the parrot.
I remember that story.
You heard it too? Okay, because I was listening to that one day and I watched the whole story. It was really, really, really fascinating. But they got the bad guy because of the parrot.
I should probably get rid of this bird, huh? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, mister.
Have them for Thanksgiving.
Hey, what kind is it?
I don't know. It's a big green bird, waterfront, something. I don't know. I'm not up with my birds.
How old is it?
34 years old.
Yeah, and how long do they usually live?
Probably another 100.
No, they don't last that long.
Oh, yeah, a lot of them do. I had a blue fawn on Amazon for a long time.
That's what it is.
Ray, they'll live up to 150 years.
Wow, I did not know that. I thought they lived 30 or 40 years. Wow, that's really interesting. What's the secret? They must be studying them.
Not 150. I know 100. I know I've heard of them living 100.
I've heard that, yeah, from what Mickey says, yeah, they grow quite old. They'll outlive us probably. And that's what it is, yeah. It's that, what is it, that blue front?
Blue front at Amazon.
Yep.
You better teach it how to use the radio.
It matches the amp very nicely.
Did you see that? It did too, yeah. That's what we call it, the Heathkit bird.
That might have to go onto the Toad Harbor Facebook page, if you don't mind.
Oh, totally.
What's his name?
Peppy.
Peppy. They can live up to 80 years, and a few have been reported to live almost 100.
All right, thanks, Carl. So now I'm just rest assured that I got to deal with this bird for the rest of my goddamn life.
Can it
Sorry,
fly?
Gary.
Can the bird fly?
It thinks it can, but it does a pretty good, it can do about 3 seconds airtime.
Yeah, but if it was outside and had space, could it fly?
No.
Are the wings clipped so it can't fly?
They're not, but I don't think it would know what to do.
Oh, okay.
Well, if it's healthy and the wings haven't been clipped, it would figure out how to fly, I'll bet.
It probably could, but it would take a while, and I think by the time it figured it out, I think the dogs would have it.
Oh, I'll tell you what. If my dog ever saw a bird sitting there talking, he'd go. He would go nuts. Absolutely crazy.
Oh, her dogs, believe me, their chops just drool when they look at this bird.
Leave him alone.
Oh, Peppy's lucky to have carried on this long with those two dogs.
What kind of dogs are they?
They're whippets, and they're pretty quick, and they get hungry.
Whippets, yeah, they're incredibly fast.
They're super fast.
My German Shepherd I was walking with him one day, and the people next door had a whippet, or two of them, I think. And all of a sudden, my dog takes off running back towards the house, and he's flat out. He's going as fast as he can, and I couldn't understand why he was running. He was about 100, I'd say a good 100 feet down the road, and here comes this whippet out from his property, and he slides to a stop right in front of me, and he looks one way, and then he looks the other way, and he sees my dog, and he takes off after him. And it was amazing. My dog had a 100-foot head start, and he caught him by 200 feet.
They're fast. They can go, I think, 36 miles an hour?
35 miles.
No, I think they're faster because I clocked my German Shepherd right next to my car at 30 miles an hour. I think a whippet can do 45.
I think it all depends on the hunger.
Well, he ran that German Shepherd down like he was standing still. I mean, I couldn't believe it. He was on him instantly.
What is a whippet?
It's like a miniature greyhound.
Okay, I've never seen one, never heard of one.
Looks just like if the person said it was a greyhound, you would know the difference.
Just half the scale.
The only dogs I know are the ones that are neighborhood bred.
We saw a greyhound when we were down in Mark's neck of the woods there, down in Harrisburg last week there, and we were down in the shopping plaza there. We had a little time on our hands, and we come out, and this guy had a huge dog, and that thing was...
That was a big greyhound.
That was a big thing. What do you think that thing weighed? Probably 120?
Probably weighed 60 pounds. No,
that thing was huge. The thing stood 4 feet tall. It made her Whippus look like a little poodle or a Yorkie. I couldn't believe the size of that thing, but the Whippets are half the size of greyhound.
My niece down in North Carolina has got several greyhounds, and they're the ones, rescue ones that used to be racers.
There's 3 of them, and actually that's what this was. I forget what the guy called him. And he was only 5 years old, and he rescued him when he was 3. So I thought that, and to look at this dog, I would have thought this dog was like 8 or 9 years old. But he was only 4 or 5 years old, and he was a rescue. But he was huge. That thing stood about. I mean, that thing was almost 4 feet tall. But he was a big dog. But it was a rescue, and there's so many of them. I guess they only let them play for 1 and 2 years, and if they can't play the game there, they send them down the road.
Well, they're really nice dogs, they're friendly and everything, so, they make good pets.
Yeah, good pets, but not a good watchdog, that's for sure. and that's what the one fella there, he implied. He goes, don't get one of these if you want to watch your house. But no, he's right there. And same with these 2 Whippets, they might bark if they're hungry, but as far as intruders go, they're all welcome. All is welcome aboard. Just bring food.
KB2ZVP.
Yeah, it's about time. N1 DVL.
N2 Echo Whiskey Mike at the 40.
WG2E.
WA3FPN.
WA2EES.
I think I sent you guys pictures of Peppy. Everybody was on here that's got one.
That's correct.
Doc's got a puppy, too. Little guy.
Yeah, send him that one. What's his name? It must be his, right?
No, it's a her. Her name's Zoe.
She's trying to talk in the background about something.
Zoe's a pretty girl.
Did you make a wrap yet out of flaxseed?
No, I was going to discuss that with Maureen. The book was open to the page, so I was going to talk to her about it. We've had chicken tonight and some rice. We just haven't had time. We've been, on the weekend, we were real busy all weekend. And you know what's funny? I remember you saying this, Ray. I've cut this weed out, like I've mentioned 1,000 times here so far, and I not only feel better and I have more energy, just like Mark said I would. I don't feel hungry. I used to have to get up in the morning first thing and eat my English muffin with my peanut butter, and now I go to work and sometimes it's 10 o'clock before I even have a banana. And today it was 3 o'clock or 4. Oh no, it's almost 4. And I came back to my office, and Maureen asked me if I had any lunch today because she was going to get salads, and we didn't get any salads. And I said, yeah. I said I had like 4 carrots, an orange, a tangerine, a bag of blackberries, and a bunch of grapes. And that was all I had, and I really wasn't hungry. I mean, and I'm not just, it's not in my head. It's just, I simply do not have hunger pains like I did before.
You book in your addiction to carbohydrates.
Yeah, that's why I lost all that weight when I was on that diet, because when you're on that diet, you're never hungry. I could have gone to bed at 5 o'clock at night without eating many times, because you just don't get hungry because you're not eating the crappy wheat.
It really is something else. I mean, I'm really surprised at that. I thought you were full of soap suds when you were saying that, but it makes a big difference.
Who, me or Mark?
You. I thought you were crazy when you were saying you weren't hungry.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I used to eat at 10 and 5, and that's what they recommend, 10 o'clock in the morning and 5 at night. And there was plenty of times I could have gone to bed without eating at 5, later on, but I just ate because I didn't think I should go like 24 hours without eating.
And this is what leads to a lot of the problems with diabetes in our modern society, because of what they did with the grains, and also what they did with the white refined sugar, which I haven't even got into with you guys yet, but that'll be another night's discussion. It leads to diabetes because of the addiction to the carbohydrates and what it does to your metabolism when you're constantly taking it in.
Right now, what's the good kind of sugar? The unbleached, or like I eat brown sugar. I use brown sugar instead of white. Is that better?
Brown sugar is simply nothing but white refined sugar with molasses put on it. It's best to get a raw sugar, an unbleached, processed, just raw sugar. It kind of looks tan or slightly brown, but it's not brown sugar.
I know. I've used raw sugar before. They do have it in the store, so okay, I'll get that from now on.
How does Mark feel about oatmeal, is the wife asking.
Oatmeal's not bad. The problem with oatmeal is it too is a grain that has been slightly altered due to commercialization, but it's not nearly as bad for you as the wheat. I mean, it has a lot of good benefits, but you just have to be very careful when you take in a lot of grains and things of that nature. You want to start. What'll happen is you'll start building that dependency on carbohydrates all the time. So you don't need it every day, but a couple times a week it probably won't hurt you. But you want to make sure you get the whole grain rolled oats. You don't want to get the Quaker State, processed cardboard tube dead quick oats. You want the oats that take long to cook them because they're a whole grain and they're rolled. They're not processed.
No, you have Quaker. The Quaker oats in the tube. That's what he said. Don't use that.
In fact,
repeat that again.
Old-fashioned one.
She gets the old-fashioned Quaker oats?
Yes, they take longer to cook.
Okay, Quaker oats old-fashioned. They take longer to cook.
Yeah, something like that. Or, you can also get it natural food stores and or better stores. You can get a 5-grain hot cereal, which includes oats, and I believe it has bulgur in it, which you have to be a little careful with that because that's a derivative of wheat. But there is some wheat-free versions of that natural cereal that has 5 grains in it. Some of them have 7 grains. You just have to be a little bit smarter on on what you're doing. That's all.
You gotta get you some trips. W2MUR.
Hey, ain't none of us getting out of this alive.
What's that?
No, I said this sounds like the judge on that.
It's a matter of how you feel until you finally go out. Do you want to feel like you're dead till you're dead, or do you want to feel alive till you're dead?
I want to be alive.
Good evening, Mikey.
What's going on, Ransky? And the beautiful people on amateur radio tonight.
Well, it's time for me to go to bed, but good to hear you. I was wondering where you were. Hope all is well, and you should be proud of me. I didn't post that obscene picture that you sent me on the Facebook page.
Oh yeah, I'm proud of you. My that's the bunny shoot from hell. Yeah, that was like that was the worst harassment I've had in a long time.
Not to say it won't make an appearance during the summit.
Well, I never promised. I never made you promise, so.
I wouldn't embarrass you in front of the country. Just the friends. We'd all love to see that. Well, at least they could have provided me a decent bunny suit, you know, that hid my face.
If you saw, when I was one time I was at Easter, I was at the the hotel there, the Northampton Hotel where we all went that time, and they had a guy dressed up in a bunny suit that looked like it was from Disney World. I mean, this guy looked so good in that bunny suit. I've never seen one. I have never seen one that nice in my life.
I can tell you, he had nothing on Mike. Mike was a professional Easter rabbit.
What was the bunny's name? Harvey?
I don't know, but Lisa took a picture of him, and I was amazed how good he looked. I was talking to him, and I mean, he just really, really looked good.
Well, the best bunny I've seen is that White House bunny when they do the annual Easter egg hunt. He's got the round glasses on.
That last bunny Trump was with.
Yeah.
Okay, Nancy.
She was only wearing ears.
Echo Mike at the 50.
Good night, everybody. KB2ZVP. See you all tomorrow.
And I'm going to, everybody. 7-3. I'm tired. I've been working all day out there. N1 DVL.
Yeah, good night, Randy. And by the way, I just wanted to jump on here. I just got in, but I just wanted to jump on. Don't forget the old foot switch. You wanted me to remind you. Oh, yes. I'll dig it out right now. Thank you.
Hey, Randy.
Hey, good night, Randy.
Randy.
You'll rest easy now, and good night, Ray.
Randy.
Don't forget the foot switch, Randy.
Okay, question. Did he ever do that meter test tonight?
No, I did not.
Okay, well, I'm still waiting for that, so when you do it, let me know.
Remind me tomorrow during the daytime. Or not during the daytime, but not when I sign off.
Okay, well, if I can, I'll try to remember.
Yeah, I'm going to bed too. Night, Randy, Ray, Bruce, Mikey, everybody. See you all tomorrow. WA2E.
And we're enjoying your new signal, WG2E.
Yeah.
That would be a signal no.
Fantastic signal. And Randy, by the way, when you yelled there, you almost touched 60 over here. I mean, what's going on? Yeah, it's nothing special. Just, normal.
He's in your backyard. What do you expect?
Yeah, we're only an hour away. You almost sound like John when he pulled up in his RV. I'm pulling up and I'm going to drop off the foot switch. That's like we both have high-Q antennas and we're only like 100 feet apart going into Hampton, and I literally have all my attenuation up and my RF gain all set max, and here we are talking to each other with I don't know how many watts. 300. I'm sure there might have been somebody else out there listening that wanted to hear us. So anyway, I'll see you all later. Good night. Sleep well.
I'm going to start a GoFundMe page for a high-Q antenna for the boat.
That would be a lot of fun with a boat.
Yeah, you could trail some radials in the water.
N3VW? Hey, 7-3, guys. WA3FPN.
Hey, good night, good Mike. Great hearing your voice.
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
Mike. Fantastic. Fantastic. Never better.
Never better.
All right, boys and girls, 73s. I'm going to head into, man. I'm exhausted, but I just wanted to say hi to everybody. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow night, Lord willing. W2MUR.
Y'all rest easy now.
Thanks, Tom.
Good night, Bad Mike.
Good night. Good night. And everybody have a great day and a great week ahead.
Good night, Ray and Randy.
7-3 is from Binghamton, New York, and 2 Echo Whiskey Mike. Pulling the plug.
K1AHA, pulling the plug. Good night, guys.
Good night, Dick. I hear you down here in Binghamton.
Okie dokie. See you later. Take care. Have a better day tomorrow.
You betcha, mister, and you indeed.
KB2ZVP, N3 EVW. KB2ZVP, KB2ZVP, N3 VW. Nothing heard, N3 VW.
K1HSN. K1HSN, this is KB1IR calling. K1HSN. K1HSN. KB1IR calling Bobby on frequency. Nothing heard. KB1IR standing by.
Anybody out there to take 10 KA2EXP? Hello, radio. KA2EXP. Alpha 2, Echo X-Ray Bravo. KA2EXP. Northeast and KT.